Hey everyone, welcome back to Love and Golf, a podcast about a romantic, passionate, and sometimes twisted love affair with the game and the valuable lessons it's given us and what we give back to it. My next guest is Alec Lorenzo, the co-founder of Pin Golf. I just met Alec recently and really kind of fell in love with his story about how him and his two buddies saw a void in the market. And like most businesses, when you see a problem, you create a solution. Pin launched in 2018, and over the last 4 years, it's transformed from their side hustle to now a full-time passion, full-fledged company with hundreds of thousands of happy customers. So I wanted to have Alec come on, tell his story, his passion for golf, his love for golf, and how it kind of really gave bread to his full-time business now, Pinned. So Alec, without further ado, man, welcome to the show, Love and Golf.
Appreciate you having me, Mike. How we doing?
We're doing great, man. I love meeting fellow entrepreneurs, dude, because everyone's got a unique story. Forget golf for a second. Just I know the true struggle that, Mully is now my fourth crack at starting a business and had some success, had some failure. And I often find, man, like that you learn a lot more in the failures than you do the success. But it's just like the trials and tribulations of starting a business kind of parallel life and what happens in life. And I'm excited to share your story, have you share your story with everyone listening. And hopefully there's someone out there that can take something from this conversation and apply it to their life and hopefully start another business in the golf space because
Yeah,
God knows we need them.
yeah, that's for sure. So yeah,
So why
appreciate
don't
you
we,
having me.
why don't we start here? But like, why don't it's funny. We're in like episode like in the 20s now. And I find that sometimes the love story gets lost. So I want to kind of lead with that, if you don't mind. Like,
Sure.
where did you and golf, and I refer to golf as this muse, like where did you and golf first meet? Take us through that story, set us up, because I'm sure that's what really gave birth to that breakthrough moment with you and your buddies when you said, "Oh wow, we need better rangefinders."
Yeah, yeah. I mean, golf and I first met probably back when I was 8, 9, 10 years old, and it was my parents dropping me and a bunch of my buddies off at a local muni course, and we would just go out there and just kind of hack around. We'd run around. We just shoot the shit. Just be idiot 8, 9, 10 year olds, just kind of having fun. So I never really took it seriously that seriously growing up. But when I really, really fell in love with it, was I started working at a local country club in my hometown of West Hartford, Connecticut. And that's where I really saw the ins and out of the country club life, right? Where people would just go and just stay there all day. And the guys would be out there just drinking, having fun with a bunch of their buddies and just playing, gambling, and having a blast. So when I was working there, got to play golf for free, and that was sort of my first time playing on like really, really nice course. The course was Wampanoag Country Club in West Hartford. So really fell in love with it there, and from there continued to play all throughout college. And then once I got into the real world, sort of used it as an escape to after work, just kind of clear my head, get out on the course, and then one thing led to another. Hopped into Pinned, and here we are.
So, did you ever play any tournament golf growing up, or like what was? I mean,
No, the biggest tournaments I played growing up, there was like every week for throughout the summer during summer vacation. It was just like me and like the other kids in my hometown. There was like Tuesday, Thursday tournaments. Like that was the biggest tournaments where we would just go there. I think it might even been like a scramble or something, but nothing really, really competitive at all.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So take us through how Pin came about then. So I mean, obviously you were introduced to golf at an early age, and then what before you got into that, what were you doing? What was like, what was your profession? Because
Yeah,
people don't know, man. Like they're, I laugh because uh, I at least use the term entrepreneur, and people are like, "Whoa, like that's so cool! It's so fun. You're a business owner." And it's like you don't even know the half of it, man. Like I've worked night jobs, day jobs, part-time jobs. I've worked gigs just to keep my entrepreneurship life going.
yeah,
So I'm really curious to know your background. Like, what were you doing? And because making that leap is fucking hard. Like, just
yeah.
like okay, and some of us don't even do it. So yeah, take us through that.
Yeah, I mean, my entrepreneur journey started when I was similar age, like 8, 9, 10 years old, when my family owned an Italian ice business. So I got sort of thrown into the mix there, sort of handing out cash or being the cashier at local events and stuff like that. So that was my really first taste, and like
Mm-hmm.
schlepping around these carts all throughout town and doing some different events. And then I would like set up a snack shack at some of our local basketball games and stuff like that. Like I was always sort of tinkering, trying new things, just trying to make a buck. And graduated college in 2015. I got my first sales gig in up here in the Boston area. So just cold calling, cold emailing, smashing my head against the phone, 100 dials a day, cold email, and just the absolute grind. So during that 5 year span after school, probably 2 years into it is really where Pinned came about and the idea came about. And it was a side hustle for a while. So Pinned, me and my two co-founders, I started back in 2018, and it wasn't until 21 where I made the jump full time. So I mean, you hit the nail on the head, right? It was definitely scary. I'm leaving a 6-figure job at the end of this pandemic that had everyone sort of in a frenzy, and just sort of leaving my full-time gig to jump into this company that we started selling at that time, strictly rangefinders. So definitely was a leap, definitely scary, but at the end of the day, the absolute best decision I've ever made.
So when you go to a networking event now, and by the way, we're going to go on tangents here. We're just going to go all over the place. So when you go to a networking event or meet up with friends, and someone says like, "So what do you do?" That infamous question.
Yeah.
How do you answer that?
I say I work for myself.
Okay, yeah,
So,
solid.
and then they go, doing what? And I go, I play golf for a living. And they go, you're professional. And they go,
um,
you're a professional golfer? I'm like, no. I own a golf company. And they go, so are you any good? And I'm like, yeah, I'm all right. I'm not nothing to write home about, nothing special, but so that's my go-to answer.
and so, but I'm trying to get at like the growth that Pinned has had. Like you guys started it, and it's a great story you told me offline. I'd love for you to share it. You know that most ventures, most businesses, most concepts, or ideas, products come from a necessity.
Yeah.
I've shared enough times like that's where Mully came from. You know, I was selling golf clubs to pay
Yeah.
bills, and I was tired of seller fees. So bang, introduce Mully.
Yeah.
Like it comes from a necessity. So take us through that story, and then if you can, bridge it into like where are you guys going now? Like because it's not just rangefinders anymore. So you wouldn't say I'm the founder of a golf company that makes rangefinders. So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, similar to you, right? It came out of necessity. So, I mean, me and my two co-founders, we played a ton of golf right out of school. Never had the luxury of owning a rangefinder. They were all too expensive at the time, right? 400, 500, $600. But we knew it would help us get better. Obviously, the goal of golf is, as always, to get better and to get as low of a handicap as possible. So we knew that having a rangefinder and using it on the course would definitely help, but just couldn't afford it. So
yeah,
um, bought a really cheap one off of Amazon, just honestly like straight from probably one of the factories overseas, and it broke within one of the first couple rounds of using it. So we were just like, all right, well that sucked. We're out $80, but like that was sort of the aha moment of like, hey, is there any really other high quality but affordable ones out there? We did a little bit of homework and we realized there really wasn't, right? You had those big box names that were 400, 500, $600, but other than that,
Bushnell, like
yeah, exactly.
Nikon. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you can say them. I won't say them. But but yeah, so they were out there obviously, and again, they've been around forever, but there really wasn't any high quality, affordable ones out there. So
Yeah.
that was sort of the spark, and we started doing some digging, doing little bit of homework, reaching out to some manufacturers, reaching out to some design firms to see what it would look like cost wise, all of this, and tested a ton of prototypes. And back in 2018, landed on one that we liked, came out with it, and fast forward 4 years on our fourth model, and we're rocking and rolling.
Wow. So
Um,
now I'm curious to know this. When you designed the rangefinder, was it specifically to save cost? Let's reduce the cost. Let's just get like block and tackle feature, point, shoot, give me the distance, right?
yeah, yeah. So I
And
mean,
how was that evolved?
yeah, great question. So when we first started, that was sort of our biggest selling feature, right? It's really affordable. So I think our first model was like 100. I think we retailed it for $150.
Mm-hmm.
So literally a quarter of what the big name $400, $500, $600 rangefinders go for. So that was definitely our biggest selling feature. And then as we've progressed and as we've grown and worked with our engineering team to figure out sort of what else we can do, there are other features now that that stand above the affordability when we start talking about some of our products. So USB-C rechargeable being first and foremost, right? Like we're one of the only, if not the only one, that has the battery life of the rechargeable feature that we do. So one
Mm-hmm.
charge will last you 60 some odd rounds. So it really, now it's not so much a price play. Now it's, hey, you're getting all these sweet features and it's affordable.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna ask. 'Cause I was just looking at your Instagram really quick. So I'm gonna ask the $1 million question right now. And we're gonna dive in. We're gonna pull back. We're gonna go. Just bear with me, guys.
Hey,
So
I'm for the ride.
so you see, I mean, I looked at yours. I know you guys have enrolled. Let's call it enrolled the support of some content creators and influencers, um, and you see that in other competitors of yours as well. Not to mention
Yeah,
names, right? We'll leave names out of this. But like, what's what? And it may be an answer that we can share or not share on air. But what sets you guys apart, or is it literally just like? Because let me be honest. Let me try to reel this one in. What's the difference between eBay and Mully? There are differences, but at the end of the day, it's a peer to peer marketplace. We're focused on golf only, and there's no seller fees, right? So in technology, like a rangefinder, I'm is there a lot of differences, or it's purely just like we're up against competition, and that's just the name of the game, like selling pencils or pens or cups?
yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of, at the end of the day, right? You're shooting to get a distance, right? And that's the ultimate end goal of buying a rangefinder, is to know how far away you are. So getting that actual 135-yard reading is the end goal, regardless of the brand that you choose. So there are little features that differentiate us from
Mm-hmm.
the other companies that we just named. But when we realize that, like, at the end of the day, taking everything away, you just want that distance. And if we can give it to you in an affordable and have a few other features included that these guys don't, then that's sort of how we can build our brand and build our moat.
Yeah.
Um, so
I was
we
telling you the
and
funny story the other day of me and my dad and I. We were just the Masters a few weeks ago, and he's like, I really want to get back into golf. He's older, right? But he is the reason I play. He's like, we should get out. You know, I still need a rangefinder. I was like, he's like, great. I was like, Dad, go on Mully and get one. He's like, but how do I know what's good and what's this and that? And like the price range is, the dispersion is quite significant, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
get some that are 3, 4, $500, like you said, and then there's some that are just like $89. He's like, well, what's the difference? I'm like, Dad, I I actually can't really tell you. So
yeah.
I think that's got to be a common problem in the space. Like, you know, people assume with anything that the higher the price point, maybe the better the quality or the more value, but they don't realize they're paying for a lot of the name brand and the marketing and the overhead.
Exactly. And I mean, once we kind of started peeling back the onion, when we, back in 2018, when we started doing our homework and stuff, we were just like, wow, I mean, these big name brands are making a killing off of these things because they're charging an unbelievable amount for these things. And we do countless testing, right? Because at the end of the day, accuracy is what matters in these things. And if the big name brands have a different number at the end of the day than ours, then people are gonna flock to the big name brand because they've been around for longer. You know, it's like we focus on accuracy and we make sure at the end of the day that ours are within a yard of any big name brand out there that has a PGA Tour professional rep in it, or any of these people. So that's something that we really strive and hone in on, just because we know how important that is to the end consumer.
Cool. So now, what else is going on at Pin? Like what else are you guys developing, working on? I'm sure Pin is just a great brand in golf, right? What a great name, Pin
Yeah,
Golf. It's like, so
thank you.
what else is on the horizon? What's coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, for sure. So I mean, I think we're going to continue to innovate within the golf technology space. I think, again, that's only going to continue to grow. I think over the last couple of years, you've seen it with all of these new the shot trackers, or the GPS, or the TrackMans, or the Repsodos, or any of those big name launch monitors and things of that nature. So not saying that we're going to get into that by any means, because I think that is a pretty crowded market, but technology is
Mhm.
just becoming integrated within the game of golf more and more. So we're going to continue to innovate within that space. I think we came out with a speaker right before the holidays. I think that's been selling great. We really can't even keep inventory of that. The second we get it, we put it online, and it goes within the first few days. So going to continue to innovate within there too, and just kind of see where that takes us. I think there are other avenues that we're putting dipping our toes in to see, hey, could this potentially work? What does that look like? And we're just going to continue to grow within, like I said, the golf vertical, the golf technology vertical, because we don't want to get too far outside of that, right?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think you don't see any of those big name brands like starting apparel lines or anything like that, right? We want to be dialed in on our tech, make sure all of it as accurate as possible, and I think the consumer will definitely appreciate that.
So in the last few years of being significantly in business, like kind of growing out of startup mode and now being a fully fledged company with employees and all that overhead, what are some of the big learning lessons that you have seen or grown through, like growing pains?
Yeah. Great question. I think managing individuals is something that I'm not really used to, right? I think growing up, I would manage my cousins and things of that nature, like at when I was doing these Italian ice events, but like that's nothing compared to the sales reps that we have, right? Like these are individuals whose livelihoods somewhat depend on our products performing, and they have kids and they have families to kind of go back to. So like that's a whole different atmosphere that I never really at this state I never really thought Penn would get to that point. Right? We just kind of started this as a side hustle, and it's taken off. So being able to kind of balance that and really manage all of those people is something that has been definitely interesting, and it's taken me a little while to get used to, but I think again everyone that helps works for Pin, works with Pin has been great, and it's we're in a good spot.
Yeah. And then different questions like, do you feel the pressure that you need to scale and have new products? Because, I mean, I've had the same rangefinder for the last. I'm actually a bad example because I lose rangefinders all the time. So I might be
You,
emailing you,
yeah,
but
you and
like
everyone else.
most people don't lose them that often. They'll have it right. So you buy one, you're probably set for a little bit. So uh, you.
Yeah,
The demand isn't as frequent as it is like your toothbrush. So
for
how do
sure.
you guys scale? What are your plans? Like how do you scale the business from here?
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've definitely felt that pressure, right? And I think that's really where the speakers came out of too, is because we took a look at it and we're like, hey, we've done a great job at selling rangefinders, and essentially only rangefinders for at that point, the first 4 years of business. And again, you can't have a sustainable business for a long time just selling one single product that if it's a good product, people aren't buying that frequently. So
Mhm.
we had a lot of internal discussions to figure out, hey, like what else can we go down? So speaker was great, and I think there's a huge untapped market internationally as well, right? I think we're growing internationally. We have a ton of international distributors helping us get our brand name out there all over the world, which is just again just kind of mind blowing to me. You told me back in 2018 I'd be having conversations with people in Tokyo or the UK about selling my pinned rangefinders. Like I'd be like, no, you're kidding, right? Like no way. But here we are, and it's we're going to continue to tap into that, and like you said, I think golf's not slowing down at any point, anytime soon, at least, right? I think it's really caught that wave because of COVID, and it's becoming cool, and a lot more people are going to continue to get into the game and going to continue to grow in the game, and we fit right in that sweet spot of like, hey, I'm just getting started, or I've been playing for a little bit, but I really want to get that much better. So like we're right there. And then it's like, all right, what can I buy to help myself get that much better? And we're right there. So every single year more and more people will get that. So we'll be sitting there with at that point, hopefully a plethora of different products to continue to kind of
Mhm.
to help their game improve.
Wow, that's good stuff. What so but you, there's no skill level required or minimum skill level to use it, right? I mean, theoretically,
Yeah.
your product could be on the PGA Tour, used by tour players.
Correct.
It's that good.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we have a ton of Division One golfers, part of our pinned university that we spit up. 2 years ago to sort of help alleviate the cost of college and with the new NIL rule. So we partnered up with a ton of Division One golfers who use it on Corn Ferry Tour events, who use it on amateur events. So I've had conversations with some PGA Tour agents and caddies and things of that nature. Some PGA Tour players I have used our previous models, but yeah, so there's no reason why they can't use it. I mean, obviously you can't use them in tournaments besides the select few that you can, but we're yeah, there's no age
Yeah,
discrepancy.
limit. How do you improve a model? So when you have
Uh,
model one, model 1.5, 1.2, whatever, like how do you improve a
yeah,
model?
great question. I think the biggest thing is the inside, right? Like I said before, the ultimate thing, it just has to be accurate. So if we can continue to dial on the accuracy, continue to make the optics, maybe it's going from 6x magnification to 8x or to 10x or something like that to make it
Mm-hmm.
easier to see the
Mm-hmm.
target that you're shooting. I think that's a huge thing, and for us just to continue to build in new features, right? I think our previous model was called the Ace. It didn't have a built-in magnet. Then we had to put a built-in magnet because everyone was asking for a built-in magnet. So we said, okay,
Yeah.
great. So
Yeah.
and I think that goes to a lot of it too, is just listening to our customers and figuring out what they want. Like you said, we've had over the last 4 years hundreds of thousands of customers who've been using our products from the first model, second model, third model, or our current model, the Prism, and it's just picking their brains and figuring out, hey, how can we improve this, right? Like, is it changing the mold a little bit so it fits better in your hands, or is it changing the
Yeah.
batter or the actual buttons to where it clicks better, or it's easier, or moving the yards to meters buttons to a different spot, or improving the battery life. So
I mean,
that's where,
I'm looking at the design now, man. The design is just sleek because it's like it's not too small. Because I've had one that was like too small, and you
yeah,
don't want to hold it, and it's not too big. But I've had like I had like the original Bushnell one, like the original one
it's
was
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know exactly what I'm talking about. It was the horizontal one too.
yeah,
It was hilarious.
yeah, I love, dude.
Oh my god, I had that. Yeah, dude, this design is great because like it's minimalistic. I see you guys have the slope adjustment too. Oh, I kind of want to watch this video, not with you on the phone right now on the thing, but like it's pin versus Bushnell. I want to see how this did. You guys basically did like a yardage
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Uh,
because that's huge. That's what people. That's the golden standard, right? Is Bushnell, and it's what everyone compares it to.
yeah. It's like the Titleist of golf balls, right? Everyone's chasing
Exactly.
that Pro V1 status. Yeah, I got
Yeah,
it.
hundred
All
percent.
right, sorry, I digress. Let's get back on topic a little bit because I definitely want to get back to some of these learning lessons and the love story with it. Did you ever think, man, like Alec, did you ever think that you would be working in a golf company, like owning a golf company, like
No, no,
right? No,
yeah, no, not really. I mean, I from an early age, I knew I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. I knew I always wanted to own my own business.
why? How? Where? Take me through
Just,
that
just
because I share that with you.
yeah, for sure. I mean, just by being around my parents and they're running their operation, right? It was just so cool to see all the ins and outs, right? And learn sort of just from an early age, just learn the hustle. That was just instilled in me, is just hustling and making your own buck. And then it really was emphasized when I started working for the sales gig, and it was just like I'm pounding my head against the phone, making 100 dials a day, smashing the keyboard, getting so fucking frustrated over these people telling me to screw off for what? To make someone else money, to make my manager and his manager and his manager money. It's just like, for what? I'm out here busting my ass for that. Like that's just there's no way.
Yeah,
Um,
it's funny you say that because I literally had the same, almost the same role. I was working at a. I'll keep the name out for privacy sake, but I was working for a, let's call it a tech company, security software company, and I had like a manager. We were all in the same room, and literally, I think the manager's job was like, "How many calls do you want, son?" I'm like, "I'm on like 40. It's 8:30. I've been here for 30 minutes. We talking?" And it was just like, it's like I'd imagine if like sweatshop of selling, and it was the most. There's no word for it, guys. Like it's just a shitty life,
it's wild.
and at that, but yeah, we had to get to at least 100 a day. and
Yeah,
I'd hit
for sure.
100 by like 1 p.m. And then I'd just kind of like update my Salesforce. And
Yeah,
I remember I did this for a year, and I was just like, man, like there's got to be there's more to life than this. And I think my entrepreneurship, my spirit was what it was when I was younger, just because I saw my both my parents were entrepreneurs, and it kind of was in my family. But when I realized the value of time and what time meant, and not so much money, I think a lot of people, myself included, guys, I don't want to make myself seem righteous here, or like, above the law of money, or the pursuit of money, because it's fun and money does solve a lot of problems. But when I found out, when I chased money, it was almost like a pit. Like I would fall in these really dangerous and volatile patterns. And when I
yeah,
chased my time, when I really valued my time, and like that's why I wanted to be an entrepreneur. Is not to hog the mic here, but it was like when I was able to understand that I want to be a time millionaire. As much as I wanted
yeah,
to be a financial millionaire, I wanted to be a
yeah,
time millionaire, and I wanted
yeah.
my time to be mine. Like if I want to go golf on a Tuesday at 3 p.m., I'm going to go.
Oh.
If I wanted to go to lunch and my lunch break was 6 hours, I was going to do it. Like
Yeah.
time, I wanted to manage my time. That was so I'm not sure where you fall on that spectrum, that scale.
I mean, dude, I couldn't agree more. Right, the job I had, it was pretty regiment, right? Like you're in at 8, you left at noon for an hour lunch break, you're back at 1, and then you left no earlier than 5. So it was just like it was that every single day. And again, I'm not gonna sit here and say I didn't take any valuable lessons away from it, right? I think everyone who is in business, I think sales at some point, or bashing your head against a phone, getting told to screw off and everything, I think that really helps you sort of, I don't want to say, like, I guess, callous, right? And just sort of
Yeah.
be able to just overcome anything, right? Like now, if people tell me to screw off, or like, we're not interested, I'm like, all right, cool. Like you're not interested right now. Like let's come back in 2 or 3 months, and it'll be a totally different conversation, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's just, I mean, dude, now I going back to what you said, like, did I ever think I would be in the owning my own golf business? No, but like it's unbelievable. And now, like you said, if I want to go golfing on a Thursday morning because it's finally 70 degrees here in Boston, like
Mm-hmm.
sure, I can
Mm-hmm.
go out. Or if I need to go help my parents do something, I don't have to go into ADP and put in my PTO or anything like that, right? Like I can come and go as I please.
Um, I forgot you were in Boston now, dude. So we're gonna have another tangent. I don't know if this is gonna upset you or not, but are you a Boston sports fan?
Yeah.
Is that a yes? So
Yes.
he's leaving. He's leaving. He's coming
That's
back.
no, 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 no. I think he's done. But that's Belichick and Brady leading the boys across the Charles.
But dude, your Bruins the other night.
Ah,
I
brutal.
I mean,
It's a bad
I know
24 hours.
we gotta air this podcast soon, because I want people to feel this pain that you're in, because it's I love hockey. There's nothing, guys. I'm sorry if you're listening right now. Please don't turn this off, because we're just gonna go on a quick tangent here. But like playoff hockey, there's nothing like playoff hockey. I won't watch hockey all the regular season.
Yeah,
I'm a big Kings guy. I grew up a Kings fan. LA, sucked for the longest time.
yeah.
Brownie comes in, Kopitar, win cups. I'm like, oh, it's sick. But playoff hockey, guys, is just the sickest thing on the planet. It's just nothing like it. The energy, the vibrations, bro. You're in a game 7. You're winning the entire time, and it's hard to gotta relive this. I gotta relive this with you. This is just painful. It's painful for me, and I'm not even a fan. But dude, it's the third period. There's a minute left. Pull the goalie, right? Rarely does it happen, dude. They put it in the. They light the lamp, put it in the back. They take it to overtime and finish you guys off in overtime.
Yeah.
It was the most demoralizing, crushing thing I've seen in a long time in sports.
It was brutal. I mean, there's no other word. It was brutal, right? And being up 3-1 and then just shitting the bed 4 games in a row, or 3 games in a row. Excuse me. Like that's just it was terrible. And I live spitting distance from the Gardens. Like we pop over there all the time, right? Like I do like hockey. I'm not going to say I'm the biggest hockey guy, but like playoff hockey, there's nothing better. And we were so fired up, so juiced up for the
And
beach.
dude, your season was record breaking, like the
Yeah.
most amount of wins. Like the stat. This was like the season.
This was the season. There's no other doubt about it. This was the season, and they didn't come to play. I don't know what it was. I don't know if they had a regular season hangover or what it was, and then it wasn't there. And then rolling into last night's Celtics game too. They just
Oh God.
they were smoking them too, and then in the fourth quarter just fell apart.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
I think Barcelona had like a legendary post today. It was just like the last 24 hours in
Yeah,
Boston have been brutal.
oh, dude, it's
Oh, God.
brutal, dude. Yeah, it's not great.
But it almost comes to the territory of being like a Boston sports fan, right? It's just kind of
Yeah,
like it's just in the water.
yeah. I mean, it's just it's either it really high or really low. There's not much in between.
Okay, let's get back on track. Sorry, guys. Thank you for that quick commercial break. Brought to you by Boston Sports. So let's try and give some people some listeners out there some context here. Like I feel like there's been a lot of support in my life through my mentors, through my friends, through the podcasts I listen to. I'm a big NPR How I Built This fan, so I know
Yeah,
you're familiar with that. So
yeah,
let's kind of get into the weeds of it a little bit, or into the thick of it. Sorry, into the thick of it a little bit. Take us through some of those tough, challenging times of Pint, like some of the early days. How'd you get through them?
yeah,
Looking back now, a little more. And by the way, I know as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, you're never in the clear, right? Unless you're like Amazon, right? Then
yeah,
you're
yeah,
always worried because there's growth, there's overhead, there's seasonality to golf and everything, and you're constantly
yeah.
pushing the envelope. So, but take us through at a point now. You can come up for air for a sec, look back, because what was it like, man? Like, I'll shut up now. Go. What was
Yeah.
it like?
I mean, dude, it was a grind, right? And like you said, you're never really out of the clear, so it still is a grind on a daily basis. But I mean, so even those early days, especially, right? Like physically packing up every single order in my apartment, right? Like this is my South Boston 1,000 square foot apartment, not even, right? Just my room was just filled, right? Like my girlfriend at the time, like she would come over and she'd be like, "What are you doing? Like, what are all these packages and everything?" I was like, "Oh, just be quiet and like help me pack up some of these orders," you know? So
Yeah.
like it was, and this is all after work, right? So this is like I'm 8 to 5 getting my teeth kicked in every single day, and then I have to come home, pack up orders, start sending out emails and doing stuff like that. So like it was just it was such a grind, but like again, you got to embrace that, and you got to almost cherish it. Like you said, looking back now, like I wouldn't change it for the world, and it's definitely helped craft Pin to who it is. I think there's one time that really stuck out to me is it was our very first sort of Christmas holiday, and we had so again, we're still learning how to like import things from overseas. And I think this is right when like Trump implemented that big tariff where like China was like almost afraid to send things
Yeah.
over
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
US. And like
Yeah.
we had pre-sold a ton of units for Christmas, and we thought like, oh, we had a week to get, we had like, it was like 2 weeks before Christmas, and we were supposed to get them that week, and then it got pushed a week. So we're like, all right, shit, we're getting close here. And then they said it was delayed again or got stuck at customs or something. And we just straight up pre-sold a ton of these, and we just straight up missed Christmas.
Oh God.
So we're like, dude, we're screwed. We are done. Like pin golf is no longer. Everyone is going to be writing these terrible scathing reviews. Like, I bought this. We missed Christmas. Like, are you kidding me? And you know how it is, especially around Christmas time, dude. It's like
Mm.
everyone just wants their thing. And if it's not there, it's the end of the world, right? Like they
Yeah.
could have
Yeah.
a million other presents, and this could be like the very last one on the Christmas list, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So it was terrible. But we did actually throw a little curveball at it. So like we sent out this really apologetic email, sent them like this whole like printout that was just saying like, hey, you can use this, right? Like one of the scrappier things we did. Like here's a printout with a picture of the rangefinder on it saying like, hey, the boys at Pin Golf really screwed this one up. Like, don't worry, you'll have your pinned rangefinder in a few weeks, excuse me. Like, appreciate the support. And we're like, hey, just print this off and just stick it in underneath the tree. Like you can wrap it up if you want. We'll give you the opportunity to return it or refund if you want. But I think we only got like maybe one or two refunds or returns.
Wow, that's cool.
So
That goes to like the day and age we're in now. I feel like before I say this, are you guys just direct to consumer, or are you in retail accounts? Are you wholesale?
yeah, we're in retail accounts.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say like there's like there's a level of authenticity now with companies that are almost demanded like that. Like, I think long gone are the days of like the big, like, the Kellogg's, the Nestle's, and like they own the space, and like you can't like almost these like monopolies within verticals. And there's just so much competition, which is healthy. And I think the more that a company can be human, like you can humanize the brand,
Yeah.
give Pinned its own voice and its own and like a visibility into like behind the scenes, like get to know the founders, get to know the company.
Yeah.
Your customers will become like ambassadors, like
Yeah.
evangelists, and I think what you handle that great. Like I think customer service is a huge oversight,
Yeah.
and how valuable it is to creating loyalty. Believe me, but in Mully, we definitely need all the help we can get, because as we're growing and there's tech glitches and people. I just got an email today, like someone bought us a putter and it's been like a couple weeks, and the guy who owned the putter, and again, we don't have inventory, but the guy who owned it just deleted the app all of a sudden. Like, he's gone. So it's like, where'd you go? And
Yeah.
then so now I have to get in the customer service role, and I'm trying to get a really unhappy person who is expecting a putter, and you kind of flip them, So I think what you did with the Christmas story is great, because it's almost like you get a laugh out of it. You get to
Yeah.
understand that they're just a startup, they're
Yeah.
human, and then they're probably going to be a customer for life.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you hit the nail on the head, and that's what we've tried to do since the beginning, right? Like when we were going up against the big names, they're a brand name, right? Like you couldn't tell me who the CEO of Bushnell was, or the CEO of Nikon was, right? Like, no way. They're backed by a multi-billion-dollar parent company or anything like that. So we really were like, hey, that's how we're going to differentiate ourselves. Like, just be golfers. We're just going to be normal dudes, normal guys who happen to own a rangefinder company.
All right, I have a challenge for you now, then, and we're going to
Yeah.
figure out how can we, now that golf season, it's May 2nd, guys. So just to date this episode, it's May 2nd. Golf season kicked off a few weeks ago. People are in full golf season. Is there a way that we can get Pinned to do a month-long special during May on Mully exclusive, a Mully exclusive price, a Mully only? It could be maybe overstock or last season or whatever you had, different models. But I want to try and give, because we do this thing with golf balls. For every transaction we do at golf balls. But I kind of want to give people rangefinders this year. Not give, like just so they could buy them at a good price. My challenge to you is go talk to your business partner, see what good price we can give our Mully community for
Yeah.
rangefinders this season for a month. We'll do a 30-day thing.
Well,
But that's your homework assignment.
yeah. Accepted. I've
For you guys, no, just kidding. No,
yeah.
actually, I don't believe in free stuff, dude. That's like my thing. Like I don't like coming from a fee-free platform, but buying free stuff. I even you gotta respect the company a little bit and buy stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll figure out the price point.
Yeah. I'm definitely down for that. 100%.
So, Dad, if you're listening, one of our few hundred people here listening, Dad, you're gonna save your money. We're gonna get you a rangefinder. Okay, so we'll get it up here soon.
Yeah. Pick your favorite color.
So yeah, how many colors do you guys have?
So we have 9 now.
9 colors.
Yeah. So we had 6, and then we just came out with 3 like 2 weeks ago.
Okay. All right.
Which is,
and are they customizable at all? I'm sorry, I'm sure the ones we aren't, but like can you go on there?
Not direct to consumer, but we have a ton of like pro shops, courses, and things of that nature who will logo them for like events or just for their own pro shop.
That's brilliant. That's really smart.
Yeah.
So what else, brother? Tell me what it's like having business partners. What else can you share about the company and some teaching lessons for our listeners?
Yeah. What it's like having business partners. I mean, they're 2 of my good buddies, right? So I went to.
Are you guys all full time?
No, so I'm the only full time guy.
Okay.
So I went to school, went to college with one of them, and then the other one I sat behind at my day job, and we would just constantly be shooting the shit about different ideas and things of that nature. And then one day I walked in with this idea, and he was like, "Yeah, this one, let's run with this and see what happens."
Got it.
Funny stories. They knew each other. They both grew up in the Boston area, and they knew of each other, but weren't really friends. So like when I started the whole group text with the idea and everything like that, they were just like, "Oh wait, dude, I know you." And it was funny that I thought I was bringing together 2 people who had no idea who they were, no idea who each other were, and they turned out to play hockey against each other growing up. So, but I mean, it's cool. It's fun. I mean, I started a business with 2 of my good buddies, and we shoot the shit every single day. We get on the phone pretty much every single day as well. Just to continue to see what we can do to grow this thing.
Do you find it challenging working with close friends and buddies? What's the dynamic like?
I mean, not necessarily, right? I think at the end of the day, we've said from the day one, we're j- everything that we do is just in Pin's best interest. So like we're straight up with everything, right? So like if we think that someone's slacking or they're not pulling their weight, like we'll say something. Why? Because it's not in Pin's best interest. Like
Yeah,
at the end of the
got
day,
it.
we're putting time, we're putting our own money into this. So like we want to grow this thing as big as physically possible. So like we divided and conquered. Everyone has their sort of lane that they stay in, and if they're not kind of holding it up, I'll be straight up with you.
And that was my next question. Do you guys ever go through the VC route or raise money, friends and family to get it going?
No, not really. I mean, we bootstrapped the entire thing um, from the get go. So it's we just I think it was 1 month where we all had a nice commission check from our actual day jobs, and we're like, yeah, this is actually perfect timing, perfect storm. Let's throw a little bit of that into the pod and see what happens. So, I
That
mean,
got you the prototypes and everything, and
yeah,
just
I got
the
us the
version one.
prototypes, and I mean, since day one, right? I think the luxury of starting this as a side hustle is the overhead was next to nothing, right? Besides marketing and inventory. I mean, like I said, I'm shipping these things out of my apartment, running to like we didn't even get. I lived in South Boston, such like Dorchester, so like not the greatest area. Like I didn't even, my apartment wasn't even big enough to send these boxes to it. So like during my day job, I would send these cases of rangefinders to the mailroom of my day job.
Oh,
And
that's
the
great.
mail dude, and the mail guy was like, dude, what are you doing? I'm just like, nah, just don't even worry about it. Like, just let me come to
That's
my practice.
great. Oh
So
my God, that's
yeah, so I
great.
became buddies with him, like it, and he was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm just not gonna say anything. And I was like, perfect, dude, thank you.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, we started realistically, we started off, I think we bought 60 of them to start. We bought 60 of them, and we bought 100 of them, and then we bought 200, 500, 2,000, 10,000, and it's continuing to multiply. So we reinvest everything that we can.
That's amazing. What a
So
story. And
yeah,
now the speakers and those, you told me those sold out, right? Those
yeah,
sell out fast.
yeah.
That'll
Speakers.
be a consistent offering, you think? Pinned offering?
What's up?
That'll be a consistent pinned
Yeah,
offering,
yeah,
a
yeah.
pinned product.
More so because I mean, I thoroughly enjoy listening to music out on the course. So it's just like, hey, let's make some things that we all enjoy too. So
And I
uh,
love it that you're a golfer too, so you know that it needs to be of quality, right?
yeah,
The
for
speaker
sure.
can't be janky. I mean, I've had janky gift speakers given to me, like some of these like tournaments you go to, and you turn it on and it sounds like just like this like fuzzled, muffled piece of shit, and you're like, what the?
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%. Yeah.
dude.
So I mean, that sort of been our philosophy since the beginning, right? It's just like when we originally started to tried to jump into this, we were just like, all right, like, what's the worst that happens? Well, we're sitting here with 60 rangefinders that we have no idea what to do with them. We're like, all right, well, we could at the very least, like, we could turn to our friends and family and be like, hey, buy these things at cost, and we're out. Like that's fine.
Yeah,
So like
yeah.
that's been our sort of thought process, and from there, it's just now it's like, okay, well, we don't even need to worry about that anymore. But it's like, all right, what other products can we get rolling?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, my friend, coming up on the final few minutes here, I wanted to wrap this up and be sure that we can do some learning lessons at the end. Before we get there, I do have a question I want to ask. This is kind of like the common theme that I thread in some of these interviews and discussions. So Mully being a platform, and I find that it's like for like equipment and everything, there's a lot of nostalgia going on right now in the game. And I've seen some of the fastest items that are listed and sold are like the Titleist 975D or the burner bubble, the old TaylorMade. So I was curious to know, like, do you have like a grail of your own, like one of your like favorite first golf clubs that come to mind?
Funny you say that. We're golfing with my brother, and he has the TaylorMade burner, the bubble.
Yeah.
So it was mine that I passed down to him, and that 100% that has to be it. So I used that. That was like I used that up until probably end of high school. So
Yeah.
like before I could even, there was a hand me down from my uncle to me, and then to him, and he's still using it to this day.
It almost stands the test of time with all the new tech updates, huh?
It's wild.
Yeah,
And
it really is.
they came out with a new one, the new TaylorMade burner.
Yeah, I
Their
saw that. There was like it was like a nod to
remake.
the burner. Yeah, that's like the mini driver, their newest version. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
Funny enough, I actually have the last version of the mini driver. The thing's a beat stick, just a great club, like
Yeah,
great club. Oh yeah, 11.5 degree. Yeah, it's great.
there you go.
Um,
What kind of clubs do you play?
I just recently got into Wilson staff
Yeah,
the blade. I play the blade through the 7, and then I go the cavity back CB through the 4, and then I play like their DB94, just like it's like a forgiving form, and then yeah, dude, I love them. I was such a I've done some work with Wilson in the past, and
yeah,
I was kind of like a hater on them, like yeah, because I grew up when Wilson was like the Big Five brand. It was like in big, it was like
yeah.
wasn't like a real golf brand, and they've done such a good job over there revamping their
Oh,
not only
dude.
their branding but their clubs and every. And I hit them and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Dude, they're
dude,
coming back
just
strong. I've
yeah,
seen them coming back strong and like out of nowhere too. I'm just like, wait a second, people are actually playing Wilsons right now. Like, isn't I think Kevin Kisner's signed with him with
yep,
them.
yep,
I've seen a bunch of different content creators too leveraging them too. And I was like, wait,
yeah.
what?
Dude, it's such a quality iron. And you know I'm gonna go test the Dynapower driver, the new driver. But just quality, just
Yeah,
absolute quality. And you got to think like they were making clubs back before any other OEM was doing it. Like you know
yeah,
with Arnold Palmer and Saracen, like they had like some of the greats. I'm like, dude, it's just a shame they had such a bad rap in the '90s and
yeah.
but yeah, I'm playing those clubs. They're right over there.
There you
But
go.
what's in your bag? Give me a quick little insight.
I got the P790s TaylorMade.
Okay. Yep.
I got Vokey wedges. I got Sim 2 Max driver and M4 3 wood.
That's a
So
bag, dude. So you're a TM guy. You
yeah,
like
I'm a
that.
TM guy. I'm a TM guy.
Right
So
on.
it's not bad. I like them. We're working to get better. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm scratched by any means, but well, it's all part
What's
of
the
the
current
fun.
index?
12.
Okay. Dude, you're
I can
that's
hold my own.
respectable.
I
You
can
go out and
hold,
play anyone respectable, right?
yeah,
But
I
yeah,
can hold my own.
you're on a mission to get in the single digits. I can
Yeah,
see it.
that is 100%. That I told all my golfing buddies this year. I'm like, dude, this is the year. This is the year. I'm breaking into the single digits. That's my
You guys
goal.
had a pretty shitty spring though, so I mean your golf season's just now starting. So you're like a month behind. You're a few weeks
It's,
behind.
it's brutal. I've only gotten out there maybe 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, dude. I
But
don't know. No
one of those
disrespect to
times
the
being in February. It was
yeah
like
the
70 degrees
Northeast.
in February one day.
No, not happening.
Yeah.
Not happening.
So next couple weeks though, I'm
There you
hoping.
go.
Fingers crossed.
So final question, and then we'll wrap. We kind of touched on it earlier, just looking back, right? But looking back, like what does take a moment? Like what does not only golf mean to you, but pin mean to you? Like your life now, Alec, and the trajectory of what you're doing with yourself professionally and in your group of people. Um, what does golf mean to you? The community, your business partners, the sport, the business. Like when you have to sum it up, like just speak on that.
Yeah. Um, I mean, it means everything. Like again, that's obviously a pretty cliche answer, but like it means everything. I think when I think of golf, just looking from where growing up playing, getting dropped off at the course with my friends, to working in the at the country club, to now being able to own my own business and work for myself because of the game of golf, right? I think things that are intertwined and all of that. I think one word is just like it's freedom, right? I think it's allowed me to own my own business. Back when I was doing the sales job, it gave me the freedom after work to go out and just disconnect from everything, just to be free out of the course all by myself, just turn off the phone, just either listening to music, drinking beers, doing whatever, and just enjoying my own self. And then back when I was 8, 10 years old, right, the freedom to just no parents, no rules, getting chopped up at the course, running around like idiots with all my buddies. So I think just those 3 stages right there, it's just it's given me the freedom throughout my entire life to kind of do things that I enjoy and disconnect and just be me, you know?
Yeah, dude, that's so poetic and beautifully said, man. I couldn't agree more that freedom is a great word to describe it in a
Yeah.
lot of ways.
Yeah.
Um, so before we close and let you go, uh, for those listening, you probably share this episode with your friends and family and those close to you. So I don't know if you want to take a moment just to give anyone a special shout in your camp, a special thank you, to acknowledge not everyone, but to acknowledge that would take a long time, just to acknowledge those special people that have helped you get to where you are now.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously my two co-founders, Matt Buckley and John Rao, they've been there since day one. I think all of our families too, right? They've been nothing but supportive throughout the years too. And then our pinned golf families is what we call sort of all of our customers and everyone who's been supporting us since day one. So at this point, a very large audience, and I couldn't be here talking with you, Michael, if it wasn't for them, So huge shout out to all of them, and huge shout out to you too for having me on. This has been a blast, and I'm glad we were able to connect.
My friend, well, let's definitely connect offline, see what we can do for this month of May, get some people, some rangefinders that may need it, or because I know I'm probably one of those customers. It's like, I have one. Do I need a new one? It's not quite working as well as it used to.
Yeah.
So,
well,
Alec,
quick, one other plug too, right before on that topic, we have a program called For the Kids. We partnered up with the First Tee of America to where
we forgot about this. My bad. This is my
Oh,
bad.
you're good.
This is on me.
I mean, that was
part of the podcast, guys. How do you give back to the community? So let's
perfect segue. So before we wrap up, so if you have an old rangefinder, right, and you don't know if you want to upgrade or you're like, well, maybe I can get another year out of it, right? Like the perfect program. So it's we partner with the First Tee of America to. You send us your old rangefinder, we'll refurbish it, we'll put new batteries in, we'll clean it up, we'll donate it to the First Tee, give it to some of their kids all across the country, and then in return, to say thank you, we give you a huge discount on one of our Prism rangefinders. So rolled that out last year, was wildly successful, rolling it back this year, and we're just looking to continue to grow that program. So glad you brought that up right at the buzzer.
There we go.
But just wanted to throw that out there.
I love that. Alec, you're a good dude. You're doing great stuff in the golf community. We'll sync up, figure out next steps, what we can do for our community and sync those, align those. But just huge things coming for you and everything you're building over there. As one entrepreneur to another, congratulations on everything. Keep grinding. And as it grows, we'll do another episode of follow-up and announce more special things and hopefully more products you guys have launching.
Yeah, right back at you, brother. Congrats on all the success, and thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. I'll talk to you soon.
Yep, later, dude.
All right, bye.